I have a bit of a confession. I know, we're starting off strong. I'm not that good at finishing things. Look no further than the 2x4s that are piled in my front lawn. Ask Victoria. I like starting new things, but I'm not so good at finishing them. And I know that that's not everybody. I know that not everyone likes to start new things, but I like it. I like the change. I like the new opportunity, new beginnings, trying different things. And I think part of that's because of the way that I was raised. See, when I was growing up, we moved a lot. We changed houses. We moved all the time. I went to 3 different middle schools, 3 different high schools. I was constantly getting fresh starts, constantly having new beginnings, and sometimes that was a really good thing. Because when I was in middle school, we had this cat, and her name was Princess. She was a bit of a diva, and she either liked me way too much or not at all, because instead of peeing in her litter box, she would pee in my backpack. I know. And I don't know if you've never smelt cat pee before. It's horrible. And it's really hard to get out of stuff. So we would clean it and clean it and clean it over and over and over again. And no matter how much we cleaned it, we never really got the smell all the way out. And that was the backpack that I had to take to school. So when I was in 3rd grade, all the way through 5th grade, I had a fun nickname. My nickname was Cat Pee Boy. I know. Devastating Cat Pee Boy. And so years of Cat Pee Boy that I was so discouraged. It was so tough. And so when my dad came to me and he told me that we're moving again, I was like, yes, finally, I don't have to be Cat Pee Boy anymore. Sometimes it's good to have a fresh start, and growing up, I knew that I always kind of had that get-out-of-jail-free card. No matter how awkward or embarrassing things were in my life, I knew that it kind of didn't really matter that much because I was going to be moving again soon anyway. But sometimes, that was a bit of a problem. And as I got older, I noticed that kind of thinking affected my life, affected my relationships. I would be in a relationship with someone, and when we started having conflict or when things started getting hard, I'd be like, that's fine. I'll just get a new girlfriend. When I was at work and things got tough with my boss or I got bored with the work, I said, that's fine. I'll just get a new job. When things with my friends got a little tough and they weren't treating me the way that I thought friends were supposed to treat me, I said, fine, I don't need them anyway. And eventually I started to realize that that mentality wasn't really that helpful. And although I had lots of new beginnings, it always had the same ending. My problems kept following me, no matter how many new things that I tried. And I don't think that that's unique to me. We all have new experiences. Life throws us new experiences all the time. We're always having new beginnings. We're graduating school. We're starting new sports. We're doing new clubs. We're moving out. We're getting married. We're having kids. We're having grandchildren. We're retiring. Life's always giving us these new opportunities for new beginnings. And what's kind of strange is that it seems like the bigger the new beginning, the more that we have to leave behind. The bigger the new beginning, the more that we have to leave behind. When you graduate high school, you might leave some friends behind. When you move out, when you move away, you might leave some family behind. When you get married, you leave singleness behind. When you have kids, you leave sleep behind. I mean, that's been my experience. Just ask my daughter. The bigger the new beginning, the more we leave behind. But sometimes that's a good thing, right? Sometimes we're doing new things so that we can leave stuff behind. Sometimes we start new things so that we can leave things behind. Maybe you want to move out because you're tired of your parents telling you to clean your room. Maybe you want a new job because you're tired of the old job. Maybe you want to change and have a fresh start because you're trying to leave some stuff behind. And that's good. But there's a problem with new beginnings, is that a lot of the time, the problems that we're trying to leave behind, they don't stay behind. We bring them with us. Not the real problems, like some problems we can leave, but a lot of the real problems, they stick with us. Now listen, there are some things that we can and we should leave behind. Some problems that you can and you should. If you're in an unhealthy, abusive relationship, you can and you should leave that behind. But for most of us in this room, probably our biggest problems are things that they stick with us. And maybe you're here today and you need a new beginning. Maybe you've got some stuff that's just sticking to you that you just can't seem to get rid of. Maybe it's stuff on the inside. Maybe you're here and you need a new beginning from things like anxiety, depression, loneliness. Maybe you feel isolated. Maybe you feel hopeless. And no matter how many new things that you try, new jobs, new relationships, new purchases, you just can't seem to get a fresh start. Because it doesn't take us long to realize that our problems that stick to us, they're a part of us. They're deep inside of us. We don't just need a fresh start. We need something a bit bigger than that. We don't just need something new on the outside. We need something new on the inside. But how do we do that? If you're here today, I'm willing to bet that you're here to celebrate something new. New church, new building, new community, and those things are exciting, and we're so excited. It's so good. But here's the truth. Those things don't fix our biggest problems, not the real ones. What we need is a real new beginning. We need to be changed fundamentally from the inside out, not focusing on our outward circumstances, but be made new on the inside. We need not a fresh start, not a new beginning. We need a new life. And some of you are here today to celebrate that, a new life. In the church, we celebrate that with baptism. Today, I'm just going to talk about one verse. It's from the book of Romans. Romans is a book in the New Testament. It's written by a man named Paul. Paul's an apostle. It means he's a leader of the early church, and he's writing a letter. And where we're going to look at in the letter, he's talking about what someone's life looks like when they believe in Jesus. And so this is Romans chapter 6, verse 4. Paul says, "We were therefore buried with him through baptism into death." Why? In order that, just as Christ was raised from the dead through the glory of the Father, we too, listen, we too may live a new life. A new life. Baptism is the celebration of a new life. We believe that Jesus, when he died on the cross, he paid the price for all of the brokenness in the world, all of the brokenness in us, all of the pain and suffering and evil in the world and in us. And when we believe in him, when we have a relationship with him, we can be covered by that payment. And we can have a new life, which means that we can have joy and freedom and forgiveness and hope. Baptism is a symbol, it's a picture on the outside of something that's happened on the inside. When we go down into the water, it's a picture of us being buried like Jesus was buried. And when we come out of the water, it's the picture of us being raised from the dead, raised to new life like Jesus was raised to new life. Baptism is the biggest new beginning that you could ever have. Bigger than marriage, bigger than graduating, bigger than having kids, bigger than retiring, bigger than grandkids. It's the biggest new beginning you could ever have because it's not something just on the outside that changes. It's not just a piece of the inside that changes. It's a complete transformation from the inside out. It's the picture of dying to the way that you used to live and being born again in a new life with a new way to live. Baptism is the biggest new beginning that you could ever have. And God doesn't work by changing things on the outside, thinking that it's going to change things on the inside. He's not interested in behavior modification to change who you are on the inside. We know that that doesn't work. God doesn't put a new coat of paint on the car thinking it's going to change the model. Like, I've tried it with my Honda Civic. It doesn't make it into a Ferrari. It doesn't work. We can't just change things in our life, our circumstances on the outside, thinking it's going to change us fundamentally who we are. It doesn't work. God works on the inside. He works in our heart. And his work starts with you knowing that he loves you. and then you loving him and trusting in him. And when you do that, watch and see as he transforms your life. He gives you new life from the inside out. Baptism is the biggest new beginning that anyone could ever have, which also means that what you leave behind is more than anything else you'll leave behind. When you're baptized, when you die to that old way of life, you leave behind the shame and the guilt and the anxiety and the pain and the trauma and the anger, all of the baggage, all of those sticky things. You're saying, I'm not living those things anymore. I'm not living for myself anymore. Now I'm going to be alive for Jesus. Now, the water, it's not magic. You don't go down in the water and come up and all of those sticky problems just fall away. That's not how it works. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be angry or lonely or anxious or depressed anymore. But what it does mean is that you can have hope. What it does mean is that you can have a new life, not for yourself anymore. Baptism is the biggest new beginning that anyone could ever have. And if you're here today and you have a relationship with Jesus, maybe you just need to be reminded that you're free. Maybe some of you are here and you have a relationship with Jesus, you know him, but there's just something that's just been sticking in your life. And friends, sometimes we just need to be reminded that we're free and that God loves you. We don't have to live that way anymore. And maybe you're here today and you were coming because you wanted to celebrate something, but maybe you're here and what you need is a new beginning, a real one. Not just a change on the outside, but you need a real new beginning. And maybe you're thinking, Will, I'm too old to have a new beginning. Maybe you think, I'm too far gone to have a new beginning. And can I tell you, friend, you can have a new beginning, a real one, at the end of your life or when you think that your life is over. And maybe you're here today and you're like, well, I'm just here to support somebody. I don't believe in God. Not so sure about that Jesus thing. I'm just here. I'm not that interested. Listen very closely. We're so glad that you're here. That's why Fireside Church exists. It's for you because we love you. And we want you to know that there is hope. You don't have to believe that there's hope in Jesus' love, but we do. Just keep coming. Come and see. Prove us wrong. Come and see that God can't change your life and give you new life. There's hope out there, and the only hope in this world is Jesus. But regardless of whether or not you believe in God or not, can we all just agree on at least one thing? Can we all agree together that this world needs a little bit more hope? Regardless of where it comes from, this world needs a little bit more hope. Our country needs a little bit more hope. Our communities need a little bit more hope. New York needs a little bit more hope. Our families need a little bit more hope. We need a little bit more hope. There is hope. There is hope. And because of the hope that we have in Jesus, we can have a new life. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. That hope has been found. Will you all join me now in welcoming our friends who are being baptized today?